here we are today doing a core set 2019, but we're not just gonna crack it. We're gonna act like this is a real pre-release and see what cards we get and what deck I would build out of this wonderful product. So as we see here, a little bit of, well, we'll get to that in a second. Divider, we have our 6 booster packs, which we'll keep up to the side. Oh, where's the dice? Can't forget the little dice. Oh, red, we hit 12, so let's see if we can get any luck out of our 12. Here, we got that. And we'll get to opening that, but we're going to start here. Chaos Wand is our promo, which I guess there's nothing else to it, so that's just promo there. We'll leave that sleeved. Read it in a second, but let's crack this open, see what we get. And I'm going to separate these into a different pile based on what we have. So cancel, strike, Island Game, two-headed zombie, another blue card, Miss Drake, colorless construct. We have Druid of the Cow, Smelt, the Caress, Gallant Cavalry, our first uncommon, and that's our first actual card there. Vine, Nation, Multicolored Disciple, and Mystic Archaeologist is our rare here, and the basic land and a token. So that goes in the blue pile. Those get set aside. So far, nothing super crazy. First reaction, if I can get this next pack open, is we're kind of in the midway here, so I'm not sure where my mind would be leaning, because there's not anything super crazy. I think the blue's is looking good so far. Maybe like a little Simic Shock's a good. I like seeing that. The Destroyed Artifact, essentially Pacification, Empire Black card, Double Cast, which is copy. That's okay. Fountain of Renewal, so another artifact. Herald of Faith, and we hit Growth, an enchantment that gets 7/7 and Trample. Seeing Trample is always good. And then we hit a Foil Drake. And use this card to present Double Face Nico Bolas, Nico Marker. Okay, that was a little interesting. But yeah, I thought, of course that's been out of printing for a little while. Something a little different. Still coming off the hype of our last opening when we cracked that wonderful Solitude. If you didn't see that after this video, go check that one out. That one's pretty good. Our giveaway, I'm going to end the giveaway soon. I know you people have been waiting, so take a look at that too. Watch some of the previous videos and you'll be able to find out how you can enter that giveaway. Horizon Scholar. Lithis Dragon Queen. I know that's a couple bucks there. Another Lithis joining the party. Oh, we got a double land, which I'll just put up there, but I don't think that's going to be used just yet. Okay. Hilarion Scholar, Treason, Zombie, another one of those. Orcs Oracle, Crash Through, Bloodletter, Explosive. Okay, Reliquary Tower, not gonna help us too much here, but that's still, I know that's a couple bucks there. Departed Deckhand, Valiant Knight gets other knights plus and some double strike. Wow. I saw the rare, I got a little excited, and then it just turns out to be another Chaos Wand. Neat. we already have one of those. We want to run 2 foil Chaos Wands. Yikes. Maybe I'll actually have to read what it does. But that's pretty uncommon. Okay, I'll go a little faster. Leap, Titanic Growth, Horror. That. Mage. Yes. Thud. I'll just like the sound of that. Thud. Engineer. We're all over the place with this kit. Half their life, this was half their hand. That hits everyone, kind of. I feel like kind of stinks. At least we got another split land. Okay. Last pack. Let's see what we spread out here. And another one of these. Essence Scatter. Good other counter spell. Spores. Sage. John's Pridemate. Grave Digger. Okay. Bone Dragon. Flying, exile other creature cards. Return Bone Dragon. Bogart Brute. And a Plains is what else we have. Yeah, so that's pretty much all over the place from what I see here. So, we have all of our cards separated into piles. Now I kind of will just quickly look through here and see what we have. And you will catch me on the flip side of this. Okay, here we are back with the deck that I put together. So after looking through everything that we got, we ended up on a black and green deck because I thought it had the most bombs given, both bombs removals and pretty much good cards out of what we have. Because in the red, you had some decent things, like there's a card with Menace, there's some other things. Lithis was cool, but the only other the downside is we're trying to make dragon tokens, and yes, we do have bone dragon, so we are running one more dragon, but we only have Spark Tongue as the other dragons, and I think the rest of it was kind of all over the place creature wise. Like Shock's good to have. A double cast, we're not running that too many instants and sorceries, and something like a pre-release because we're very creature heavy based on what we're doing. White had some also pretty decent cards in it. With the Enchantment that can't block, it gives something flying. Card with Vigilance is cool. It's just kind of high as a casting cost, but it really won't get destroyed that much. Valiant Knight's cool, gives all the other knights +1/+1, but then we would be stuck into more of a Knight Tribal, and we have 2, 3, just 3 other knights, so that's not much of a strategy we can lean into. Blue I was really pulling for because we have the cancel counter, we have 2 Essence Scatter counter spells, card draw, flying, but then kind of after I got past this, you have Tolarian Scholar, doesn't do anything. When this becomes a copy of it, sacrifice it. Doesn't have flying, can't be blocked by except things with spirits, which that's kind of neat, but like another Scholar. A 6 cast for the Sphinx Scries. That again, that's not bad. This deals with artifacts, but we hit only 3 artifacts within all of our pre-release stuff. So that's the card draw and minus. The Drakes had me a little bit there because 2 3s with flying is what you want to see. This guy was cool, but 5 mana dump to draw 2 cards. To me, that's not worth running in a pre-release. Plus, when I was looking at everything, I thought our curve on what we came out with the black-green here is better because I thought Fountain of Renewal, for me, at the beginning of your upkeep, you gain a life, and if need be late game, you can pay 3 the second and draw a card. We did hit a couple more of these vampires, so 2 tap, you drain them for 1, you gain 1, and I thought 0/3 in a 1-drop for a body is not bad, so some modifications can be made for that. But in our 2 casting costs, we have 2 Doomed Disintegrators. Now they are only 1/1s, but when they die, we create a 2/2 black zombie, so essentially you can chump block and you get a stronger creature out of those, and pulling 2 of them kind of helps there. Scarring gets a +2/+0 and a card draw when the creature dies for a 2-drop. I thought that's a pretty good card to hit. Everybody likes seeing a Titanic Growth because you can get to the point where, like, do you declare any blockers? If they don't, you have the mana open, you smack down, give your guy +4/+4 and really do some damage. Or if they are blocking, that's a good way to get around removal with just creatures. We have 2 Highland Games pulled, so just a 2/1 on a body, but it's still 2, and when it dies you gain 2 life each to just stay ahead of the pack for what you're doing. We have a Mana Dork and Druid of the Cowl. Now our curve is pretty on point with the 1s, with the 1-drop, 2-drop, 3-drops, and 4-drops with a little bit of higher end. I'd like a little bit more on the higher end, but so far, again, I thought that this is where the most with like the bombs are. You have some removal in the bodies in something like Reclamation Sage, and destroying artifact or an enchantment. As we know, this is a core set, so you're not going to run into all that too much, but still having the ability to get rid of something like that is good. Another card, so to me, this guy had flying. It's a 2/2 with flying. When it enters the battlefield, opponent loses 1 life, you gain a life, so you're still draining them a little bit more, and you have a body on board that can fly. We have another enchantment, which this one's pretty straightforward. It's a 3-drop, but it gives a creature +3/+3, so you can throw that onto your Trampler, your Flyer, and smack down a 5/5. We have our guide here. So for 2, target creature you control can't be blocked by creatures with power 2 or less this turn. So it's kind of getting over those chump blockers and there's a 3-drop, but that could be good late game. And Hired Blade. This one was kind of on the edge of being thrown in. I just didn't think I had anything else worth putting in over it. But you can flash it in at the end of the turn if you're holding some other cards or just have the open mana. Or need a blocker when someone's declaring an attack. So that rounds out our 2 drops there. Now in the 4 drops, we have Vine-Mare, which is a elemental horse with hexproof, and it can't be blocked by black creatures, so you get a little bit of an edge depending on what you're playing there, and it's a 5/3. Not the best card, I'd say, but for what we're running, it's a creature with something. Another part of removal here, I think the casting cost is a little high as a 4-drop, but give something -3/-3, it gets around. And if anything's indestructible in this set, which I don't think it is, but I thought that was good removal to run. Infectious Horror, essentially whenever this attacks, it hits your opponent for 2. Let's get us back into focus. So I thought it's only a 2/2, so that's where it's a little weak. But if you can pump this up with like your Titanic Growth, your Oaken Form, anything along that lines, or our big bomb that we have at the end here, it's just you're attacking and draining them for 2. Then we hit 2 of the 2-headed zombies. It's a 4/3 with Menace. It's like that's hard to get around. It needs double blocked if you're trying to do anything with that, and that can help remove 2 creatures. So I thought that's a very good inclusion, especially to see 2 of them. This one, it's okay. It's a 5-drop for a destroy creature, which I think is a little very steep for what we're playing, but it's included in there for the game 3 life, and you want to run removal because we're doing a very creature heavy game plan here. 5/5 for 5 with vigilance. That way you can always swing in with this if you need to. Bone Dragon, I think, is one of our best hits that we pulled out of this kit. So it is flying. You can exile 7 other cards from your graveyard and return it to the battlefield tapped. So if it's removed, you do have a way of bringing it back for the same casting cost. So I think that's a very strong card, and it's something that should be run when we see it. And the final card that we have here is our Growth enchant creature. It gives it 7/7/7 and trample for a drop of 6. So I thought hitting those 2 decent cards here were something that we can build around with the deck, and that's pretty much what we got with. Because you reject your Chaos Wand, I read into it since we have 2 of them. 4 tap, target opponent exiles cards until you hit instant and sorcery, which you can then play for free. So if you want to, that's definitely something we can splash in and maybe take out the Lithis Cares from that. Because you aren't paying the mana cost, but you are dropping 4 mana per turn into this to use it. And we're running more creatures, so that's if you want to, you can. It will hit and destroy other people's things, so that might be a good sideboard inclusion on something to go in. Talking sideboard for the game, because the other things that we hit were we hit 3 of these Oracles, which lets you draw a card, but it's only a 4/2 and a 5-drop. I'd keep those in. The whole thing can be sideboarded, but we also have a Naturalize, so if you're running a little bit more against artifacts and enchantments, you can always throw that in, taking out something like either the Druid or one of our Highland Gains. Wall of Vines, 1-drop for 3, Defender. It's okay, but it will help get around the flying. Gravedigger I thought was a decent card, because you get something back to your hand when it ETBs. I thought Fraying is a horrible card. I would never run this. Each player loses half their life and discards half their cards from their hand. If it only hits your opponent, it would be a great card, but you're paying so much into this, and you're essentially keeping the game at a standstill by running something like that. We have another Vampire, and a Blood Divination wasn't a bad card, because you draw 3 on a 4-drop, but you have to sacrifice a creature, so if you have something little like that, that's probably a good inclusion as well to move something like this. I just wanted to keep it a little bit more heavy on the creature side, because me personally, Me personally, I like having a higher board presence for dealing with things. But that's pretty much where we are. So we followed the rules for the most part. We kept the mana curve on balance so we can play things early. Went through everything, and that's kind of what we come up with. And that is where I will leave it here today. So do all the things I said when I was opening up the cards. I'm going to pull the giveaway soon, so please enter that if you're first time checking out this channel. Just thanks for making it that far. If you like what you see, please consider subscribing, because we will be doing a lot more in the future. 2023 was just the start. We have some more stuff coming up, everybody. So stay tuned. John _Deadcorn signing out, y'all. Peace. And I don't think we hit the total on this one.